All right, guys, 4-1 exponents. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want you to write down is x squared. Let's go ahead and write that down on paper. And when we talk about exponents, we would refer to this whole thing as an exponent, but that's technically not what it's called. Does anybody know? Do you know what the whole thing is called? It's actually called a power. And the power is made up of two different parts. The variable, this is called the base. And then the superscript up in the air, this is called the exponent. All right. And so whenever we have a power, so for example, let's say we had 4 cubed. This means the base times itself, however many times the exponent indicates. So here we would have 4 times 4 is 16, and then 16 times 4 is 64. Okay, so on the next page here, let's take a look at just some different power numbers. So I'm not worried about the first power of 5, but if we have 5 to the second power, that could also be said as 5 squared. So that just means 5 times 5, which we know as 25. And then if we have the third power, that's going to be 5 to the exponent of 3. And that would also be pronounced as 5 cubed. So this is 5 times itself 5 times. And that equals 125. Now 5 to the fourth power, beyond squared and cubed, or 2 and 3, we don't have a name for it. We would just say to the fourth power, to the 11th power, to the ninth power, whatever. So that just means 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, and that is actually 625. Okay. Now, if you have your graphing calculator, I'm going to show you how to enter these different powers in. So if you have your graphing calculator, get it out. If you need to pause the video and come back, that's fine too. Okay, so if we go ahead and enter 5 as our base, there is a default button here for the square key. So you can put 5 squared right there and press enter, and that's going to go ahead and simplify it for you. Now, if you wanted to go to 5 cubed, there's a couple ways to do that. You go ahead and enter your base as 5, press your math button on there, that's right underneath your alpha key. Do you see when you can arrow down to the 3? See where that gives you that superscript of 3? Go ahead and press enter there. It's going to put it right beside the base, creating a power, and press enter one more time to simplify that. Now, anything more than 2 or 3, we will need to go ahead and manually enter that. So for example, if we had 5 and we want to raise it to the power of 4, we're going to press this key right here. I call it a caret symbol. I don't know what it's really called, but we're going to say 5 caret 4, and then we're going to hit enter here, and that gives us the 625. So this is how you would use your graphing calculator to enter in your powers. All right, back to our notes. Okay, let's write these 3 down on your paper, please. And some of your homework is going to look like this. So the first problem here is 6 to the 4th power. And of course, as we know, that means 6 times itself 4 times. And I believe that's 1,296. Double check my math on that. Okay, so the second one, we're given a lot of variables and we need to write it as a power. So the base here would be A and the exponent would be however many times itself. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For this last one, we've got a mix of numbers and variables. So the first thing that we want to do when we're writing a term, the coefficient or the number always comes first. So the first thing that we want to do here is the -2 times 3, which is -6. Then we want to write our variables in alphabetical order. So I'm going to write my p's next. So I have 1, 2, 3. So we would write that as p cubed. And then we would write our q's, which is q squared. And that's how we would simplify a long term into one monomial or one term. Okay. I'm going to skip that page. Go ahead and write these two on your paper, please. Sorry, I had to check something. Okay. What I want you to understand is that these two terms are not the same. So when we're analyzing the first one here, I want you to understand that the base of this power is 2y because it is in parentheses. The base of the second one is just the y. The variable or number that is immediately to the left of the exponent is the base. So for example, here, this is 2y times 2y times 2y, which is going to be 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and that's y to the third power. Now this one is already simplified. There's nothing that we can do here any further. So it's just 2y cubed, and that's it. But understand that those two are different because of the parentheses. Okay, let's go ahead and let's write these down together and let's do these together. Okay, A and B, these are different because the base of A is simply just 3. So this is going to be -3 times itself 4 times. So let's go ahead and put that in our calculators. And that's going to be 81. And remember, the negative comes with it. And this is different than part B because this means -3 times itself 4 times. So that's actually going to be a positive 81. So you see the difference there? Whatever, if the whole thing is in parentheses, that's the base. If nothing is in parentheses, then whatever is immediately to the left of the exponent is the base. So here on part C, the whole thing is in parentheses, and also we would just follow our order of operations here. So 1 plus 5 is 6. We would square that, and that's going to be 36. The next part, you see how C and D are different. The power is 5 squared. So the base is just the 5, and we're going to square it. So this is the same as 1 plus 25, which is 26. Okay, so you'll have a few examples like this on your homework tonight as well. All right, the third part of the homework, you're going to do some evaluating. So you're given an algebraic expression. You're going to have to substitute in values for the variable and just simplify. So here we have a minus b to the fourth power. So a is 3 minus b is negative 2, and that's to the fourth power. So order of operations, we have a parentheses, but there's nothing further that we can do inside that parentheses. So we're finished. Next is the exponent. So we would say negative 2 to the fourth power, or negative 2 times itself 4 times. And that's going to be a positive 16. So we've got 3 minus 16, which is negative 13, and that's our final answer. Okay. Let's go ahead and do one more together like that. Write that expression down. And then we're going to go ahead and substitute in and simplify. A is 3 plus negative 2. And that whole thing is squared. So order of operations, I want to do whatever's in my parentheses first. And inside of that, the multiplication is going to come first because that's the first part of the order of operations. So we've got 6 plus a minus 2, which is just going to be 6 minus 2. And then we're squaring that whole value. So this is 4 squared, which is 16. And that's your final answer. And guys, you can also put this whole thing in your graphing calculator and it's going to spit out the answer because it already is programmed to know the order of operations. Okay, guys, that is it for the instruction on this today, the homework assignment. Go ahead and get started on that. If you have any questions at all, just give me a shout, shoot me an email. I'll be around. Thank you.